Hi everyone, Decent Eddie here. It's Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. My WNBA confident picks are now at 75%. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment for daily picks before tip-off on the day of the game. Before we dive in, a quick reminder, these picks are based on statistical models and trends. However, always check the latest news, injury reports, and confirmed starting lineups right before tip-off if you're going to do this and take it seriously. A last-minute scratch or an unexpected return can drastically shift a game's dynamics, and we saw that last night. We've seen it before. Data alone can't always predict that. My goal is to empower you with some statistically grounded insights, but always cross-reference with real-time developments. I've learned since starting this for the first time with WNBA, one player being gone or returning may be exponentially more impactful than anything that we saw with the NBA. Don't know why that is, but evidence over the last 90 games that I've made picks on seems to show that. So be sure to check about 20 minutes from tip-off just to make sure of the actual starting lineups and how those things can be impacted and impactful in a game. All right, enough of the preaching. Let's get on with today's game, shall we? Liberty versus Valkyries. The Liberties come in with a 1.9 danger differential in my data set as the favorites. By the data, this is essentially a coin toss. That's my data with about a 51% chance for the Liberty to win outright. However, the sportsbooks, they're seeing things way different, and we can see why. The current line has the Liberty as 10-point favorites with the over-under set at 162 points. This implies about 82% chance win probability for the Liberty by the market. Now, why the big discrepancy between the data's, my data's danger, and the books and their strong lean? Well, the qualitative notes paint a very clear picture as to why. The New York Liberty are undoubtedly one of the league's best teams. While they've had a recent dip, dropping 3 of their last 4, the big news is that one of their leading scorers is expected to be back after missing the last game. Now that's a massive boost to their offense. And one player looks like with WNBA can make a world of difference. So Jonquel Jones is out with an ankle injury, but New York still boasts incredible talent. The Valkyries are playing at home, and they have started to gel. They're winning 5 of the last 6. They've shown they can be a tough underdog. However, they're also missing a key scorer due to injury, and historically the Liberty have dominated the head-to-head, winning both previous matchups this season, even if the second game was closer. So let's talk about the against the spread picks first. With the Liberty favored by 10, this is a big number for a danger pick with my data, but I'm going to side with the qualitative factors here. The expected return of a key player coupled with New York's overall talent and their historical success against the Valkyries should allow them to dominate. While Golden State is at home and they are playing pretty good basketball, the Liberty's firepower, even if Jones is out, should be too much for the Valkyries, especially if they're missing a valuable part of their team. So I am considering taking the Liberty to cover the 10-point spread here. Let's pivot over to the over-under. Currently, it's set at 162 points. The Liberty lead the league in scoring, averaging about 88 points per game. And they make a lot of threes. Their games tend to trend towards higher scoring. While the Valkyries' offense isn't quite as potent, they are at home, and their previous matchups against the Liberty had totals of 162 and 159 points. With Lone Skew back for New York, boosting their offensive output, I anticipate this game will be an up-tempo, higher-scoring event. So I'm leaning towards the over 162 in this matchup. Finally, on the money line, my data, even if it is danger by my data, says Liberty. The books say, hell yeah, Liberty. So I'm going to hang my hat on the data, and so it's Liberty on the money line for me because I've got to go with my data on principle. All right, so we've only got 2 games. This is the second one. Sun is facing the Aces. Aces get a decent Eddie confident pick with a 3.967 differential. Historically, my system is correct about 74% of the time in this range, in that 3-point range. So I do see a solid win for the Aces here. The books give Aces a 97% chance to win outright. They're huge on the Aces. So let's dive into the qualitative because that'll explain why I'm at 74% and the books are at 97% win probability for them. The Aces, despite boasting some stars on the roster, have actually been underperforming this season. They've snapped a 3-game losing streak, but they've been an underwhelming team at best. they're firmly in the bottom third of my offensive data metrics. Crucially for the spread, the Aces have a terrible against the spread record as big favorites, failing to cover in 6 of the last 11 as double-digit favorites, with 2 of those being outright losses altogether. Then you have the Sun, who are, I mean, let's be blunt here. I mean, they're struggling significantly. They've got 2-12 right now on the record. They're on a 6-game skid. They're in the bottom third in almost every category of my data set metrics. To make matters worse, they'll be without their key scorer, Marina Mabrey, due to a knee injury, which is huge to their already anemic offense. So with the Aces favored by 19 points, this is where the rubber kind of meets the road. While the Sun are statistically the worst team in the league, giving a team 19 points is an enormous ask, especially for an Aces squad that has consistently failed to cover large spreads this season. Conversely, the Sun have been a surprisingly good bet when they're double-digit underdogs, covering 5 of the last 6 in that position. So even if the Sun get demolished, history suggests they can keep it somewhat close. It's relative. This spread is simply huge, in my opinion, maybe too huge, given the Aces against the spread performance this year. So I am probably taking the Sun to cover this 19-point spread here. This is a classic too many point scenario. So let's pivot to the over-under, which is set at 159.5 points right now. Both of these teams have offenses that are struggling. The Sun are dead last in scoring in WNBA, and with Mabrey out, their offense is probably going to be a little bit worse. The Aces, while having star power, are only 10th in total scoring themselves. So their last matchup earlier this season ended 87-62. That's about 149 points, well under the current line. So given the Suns' inability to score consistently and the Aces' own offense being really inconsistent, in spite of this large spread, I think that's going to be a lower scoring game, so I'm leaning towards the under at 159.5 points in this matchup. So finally, on the money line, my data with its confident tag says Aces. Books say Aces in a big way. Despite the huge spread, I'm sticking with my data. For the outright winner, it's Aces on the money line for me, regardless of it being absolutely zero value, almost. So here's a quick recap for tonight's games. We got a decent, Eddie confident pick of Aces on the money line, and we have danger money line picks with the Liberty. For parlays, I like to include confident picks in parlays, and we've got one. So if you put Aces in a 2-leg, with another leg between -400 and -450 odds, your win probability by my data is about 60%, give or take. Books data is going to be a little bit better than that, but you know, whatever. I will always endorse up to a 3-leg parlay with legs having odds between -400 and -450. If you do that, your win percentage stays above 50%, which is what we want. Regardless of what you choose, I never recommend more than a 3-leg parlay due to the risks of combined probabilities. And remember, don't spend more than 10% of your bankroll in total across all your wagers in a day. And if you have a gambling problem, please check out my channel's description. So thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell to get my picks before tip-off on the day of the game. Follow me on Decent Eddie Picks on Instagram. You can see me on Facebook. You can see me on X at Decent Eddie Picks. You can see me on TikTok, decent.eddies.picks. I'll post updated team grades there, last-minute thoughts there, in-game thoughts there if I have any. But let's see what happens tonight. This is Decent Eddie signing off. Have an awesome day.